Before we jump into today's video, why not like and subscribe for more videos more often? What are we doing today, Connor?
Well, Ben 10 is an awesome franchise that we loved as kids. So today, Chris and I wanted to look at what if every one of Ben 10's classic aliens had partner Pokemon who fit their powers and personalities. So Chris and I have made our choices, and now we're gonna make our arguments and decide which ones are better. So these are, of course, our own opinions, and there's no real way to determine what Pokemon would fit best with what alien, but to hell with that, let's just have some fun, guys.
Okay, so I just want to start off by saying that I imagine Ben would have like a green Ditto, and then the green Ditto is trying to transform into the aliens Ben's transforming into, but it can't transform into the aliens, so it transforms into the closest Pokemon.
I like that. That is cool. Okay, so first up, the very first very first alien that Ben transformed into, Heatblast. So his body is made of super hot plasma that's covered in this volcanic rock. So naturally, our first idea was to go for a volcano-inspired Pokemon like Torkoal, Camerupt, and Macago. And even Heatran, actually. That's actually a great option.
Yeah, I tried to avoid legendaries.
Oh. Okay, well, but thinking about the fact that Heatblast usually extracts a piece of earth out the ground and uses that to fly, I wanted to pick someone that could pick a Pokemon that could keep up with Heatblast through his adventures and his and so I chose Talonflame, a fire flying type, and I think these two would work perfectly together, just visually. You know, it gives the whole like Superman with bald eagle imagery, which I absolutely love.
No, yeah, that's a great choice. I had the same kind of idea. I wanted something that was going to keep up with him. And so I was looking around at fire types, and Hisuian Arcanine actually fit really well. It's got Fire Rock, which is basically what Magma is as its typing. And the Pokedex actually describes it as being a very nimble and fast Pokemon. I always think of that opening intro to Pokemon where Arcanine is like running across the land. And then just imagine Heatblast flying across the land.
Oh, that's really good. Oh gosh. Okay, you know what? This one's yours. So I actually do like that because Arcanine does seem more durable than Talonflame. Like it would just work a lot better. You know what they say, Chris? Fire dogs are a fire person or fire alien's best friend. It's written in the stars.
Did they say that? All right, let's move on. So for the next one, we've got Wildmutt. I believe that's a Vulpamancer, and the obvious choice was to. I did my research.
Yeah, no, right.
The obvious choice was to go with a dog Pokemon, but I don't like going with the obvious choice. So I was like, okay, what does Wildmutt do? And it uses sonar, right, like bats. So I looked at all those bat Pokemon, you know, all of them, and I wanted a bat Pokemon that didn't have eyes. So my choices were narrowed, and then I was like, it has to be Woobat, because Woobat is just this cute little fluffy bat friend for Wildmutt to have traveling around with. Yeah.
Right. Okay, but I actually looked at a lot of Pokemon with fur covering their eyes. I tried to incorporate that whole like blindness, but also have a dog-looking Pokemon. So like Suailus or Hisuian Growlithe. But you can't really forget about Wildmutt's ability to dig through tough ground as well. Like, that's really important. That's part of, like, one of his, you know, key abilities. And if there's one dog Pokemon who's gonna break concrete like it's nothing, it's the rock type Lycanroc, actually. So, specifically the Dusk form for that, like, orange fur and fighting spirit that matches that Wildmutt perfectly, you know. And you know how I love my colors to coincide with one another. So I
think I wrote off dog Pokemon way too quickly. I didn't even look at Lycanroc. That's so good. You get this one.
Okay, great. Next on the list is Forearms, and so before I state the obvious choice, I just want to say that I considered Beware, as Team Rocket will tell you that they possess immense strength and perfect for spine squashing and bone crushing hugs. So definitely something Forearms is capable of, but it has to go. I have to go with Machamp. It just fits too well not to. So let's make it a burst Machamp for Pokken because you know how much I like that color coordination. It's too perfect.
All right, so originally for my choice, I was going to go with Barbaracle. It also has 4 arms, and it's usually forgotten, just in general as a Pokemon. But I know you like your color scheme, Connor, so I had to go with something red, and I went with Ledian, who
Oh,
has
yeah,
So
yeah.
Ledian's got 4 arms, and each of those 4 arms have got, they got some different punches. It's got Match Punch, Focus Punch,
Oh my
Drain
gosh.
Punch, Rock Smash, which is not a punch, but it is something you do with your arms.
Yeah, right. Okay, you know what? I think we have some solid choices, but I don't think you can argue with the red fighting type with 4 arms. Like it's too perfect. Like just imagine both 4 arms and Burst Machamp giving each other 4 high fives after a battle. Like that's a high 20, you know? Basically, right?
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have Gray Matter, the Galvan. So frogs are kind of the way to go with Gray Matter. You know, it's based on frogs or small amphibians. So we should look
Right.
at Froakie or Greninja or Seismitoad, Poliwrath, and Politoed, right? Like, it's. I think these
Sounded
are pretty
like
perfect.
it sounded like you were gonna do the poker rap there, just with frog Pokemon.
Froakie, Greninja, Seismitoad, Poliwrath.
But I think, Connor, I think the way to go with Grey Matter is intelligent Pokemon. There are quite a lot of big brain Pokemon going on out there, and I don't think Grey Matter is defined as just being a frog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So Galvans are arguably the smartest aliens in the whole universe, and Azimuth being the one to create the most powerful piece of technology in the known multiverse, right? So
Right.
so there's more than a few hyper intelligent Pokemon, and I think what about Slowking? And it's said that he has like developed intuition and intelligence, right? So its ability to stay calm and come up with plans reminds me of like a Gray Matter in the show. You know, that's I think probably the closest thing. He's pink though, which isn't great.
Right. Well, I have to argue with you there because when a Slowking loses its shell, it goes back to being dumb, and I don't think a Galvan would want a Pokemon that could go back to being dumb. My choice was Alakazam because it's a Pokemon that's described as just keeps getting smarter. It just keeps getting smarter. When it mega evolves, its brain is like a supercomputer, and
Okay, I didn't know.
yeah, and I thought just as an extra little helpful thing for Grey Matter, they could just teleport everywhere. You know, if Grey Matter was in some trouble, they could just teleport the hell out of there.
Okay, like you know what? Fair enough. Like I'll give you this one. If Gray Matter had to crawl around through a vent, and Alakazam could just like teleport them into a different
They
area.
could just teleport ahead. They could just teleport in there. Yeah.
And you know, like the Galvans aren't strangers to teleportation technology as well, so it would be perfect. Ghostfreak, the Ectoneurite. I had to do research for this video, and I looked up Ectoneurite, and I was like, this is such a sick name for the species.
For a band,
or for a band, even better for a band. Yeah, like a a ghostly band. So Ghostfreak was terrifying to watch as a kid. I remember like being terrified of this guy. And I want to give him like the best, right? And I want to give him the perfect ghost type Pokemon that could come even slightly close to its terrifying, nature. So the obvious option was maybe something with a small skull, like a Alolan Marowak. But then, I realized that's not really the right vibe. While Duskull's whole line are prime candidates, from Duskull making children cry, to peeking through Dusclops bandages resulting in your soul getting stolen, and ultimately I have to give it to Dusk Noir. Taking souls to the spirit realm sounds like something the Grim Reaper does, and if you look at the Omniverse series, Grim Reaper's clearly what they're trying to go for.
Yeah, actually Dusclops and Duskull, they were my first choice, but
nice.
I wanted to really lean into the terrifying, scary part, and there's so many good choices. I also thought about Mimikyu, because whatever's under Mimikyu is probably just as scary as whatever's in Ghostfreak. but I had to give it with Hisuian Zoroark, another Hisuian Pokemon. Its illusions are described as so scary they drive people insane. And its power comes from the hatred it has for every living thing in this world. Just very much sounds
Oh
like
wow, okay.
very much sounds like the evil Ghostfreak Scar. It just sounds like him. And I was like, yeah, maybe that's pretty terrifying, you know. This Pokemon could traumatize a few kids like Ghostfreak did, you know.
Okay. So, this is basically between appearance versus actual like fear factor, you know.
Right.
Let's just let the audience decide on who they think we should give this one to.
It seems like a bit of a cop-out, Connor, but yeah, I think the audience participation is good. Let's you guys let us know in the comments which Pokemon fits best with Ghostfreak. It doesn't even have to be one of our choices. You could come up with something better. Yeah.
So guys, also make sure to let us know which of our other choices you agreed or disagreed with. And as always,
Why not like and subscribe?